This trailer did not just tease a new Yellowstone spin-off, it quietly rewrote the future of the entire Sheridan universe. Just when everyone thought Yellowstone was fading out piece by piece, the Madison shows up with a sequel trailer that feels confident, emotional, and strangely powerful in a way none of us were prepared for. And the craziest part is that it does not rely on explosions, gunfights, or land wars to grab your attention. It pulls you in by promising something deeper, something more personal, and honestly, that might be exactly why this trailer works so well. The reason Yellowstone, the Madison sequel trailer feels so different is because it instantly makes one thing clear. This show is not trying to replace Yellowstone, it is trying to evolve it. From the very first moments, the tone feels quieter but heavier, like something important is about to unfold whether you are ready for it or not. Instead of focusing on power or dominance, the trailer leans into loss, change, and the idea of starting over when life gives you no other choice. That alone separates it from every other Yellowstone spinoff that came before it. What makes this even more surprising is how confident Paramount seems in this project. At a time when other Sheridan shows have stalled, vanished, or been quietly forgotten, the Madison is being pushed forward with purpose. The trailer does not feel rushed or uncertain, it feels intentional, like the people behind it know exactly what kind of story they want to tell. There is an emotional weight hanging over everything, and it becomes clear that this sequel is built around grief rather than conflict. That choice is risky, but it is also bold. The trailer suggests that this story is about a family that has already lost everything before the show even begins, and now they are walking into a world that does not care who they used to be. Montana is not portrayed as a place of opportunity or escape, but as a place that forces honesty. Money does not help here. Status does not matter here. And that idea alone completely flips what we expect from anything connected to Yellowstone. What really makes the trailer hit hard is the sense that the past is always present. Even when characters are trying to move forward, the loss they carry follows them into every decision. The sequel angle feels earned because it does not rely on familiar faces to create relevance. Instead, it builds a bridge through emotion, showing us that the Yellowstone world can still tell meaningful stories without repeating itself. By the time the trailer ends, it leaves you with the feeling that the Madison is not just another chapter, but the beginning of a new direction entirely. It is slower, more thoughtful, and far more human than anyone expected, and that is exactly why it might end up being the most important Yellowstone project yet. What truly makes this sequel trailer feel so powerful is how it reframes the idea of strength in the Yellowstone universe. For years, strength meant control, intimidation, and the ability to protect land at all costs. But the Madison trailer quietly suggests that strength can also look like survival, endurance, and choosing to move forward when everything inside you wants to stop. The emotional core of the trailer revolves around absence rather than presence, and that is a bold move. Kurt Russell's character is not shown as a man who drives the story forward with actions in the present, but as someone whose loss shapes every moment that follows. His shadow hangs over the family in a way that feels heavy but realistic. You can feel that his death is not just a plot point. It is the emotional wound that never fully closes. The trailer does an incredible job making that clear without spelling it out. It trusts the audience to feel it instead of explaining it, and that kind of confidence is rare. Michelle Pfeiffer's character feels like the true center of gravity here. The sequel trailer positions her not as a powerful matriarch in the traditional Yellowstone sense, but as a woman forced into leadership because there is no other option. You can sense the exhaustion in her presence, the quiet determination mixed with uncertainty. She is not trying to conquer Montana. She is simply trying to survive it while holding her family together. That emotional struggle is what gives the trailer its tension. There are no obvious villains being teased, no clear enemy to fight against. The conflict feels internal, and somehow that makes it even more intense. Every glance, every pause, every moment of silence feels loaded with meaning. The trailer understands that sometimes the most gripping drama comes from what characters are afraid to say out loud. Another reason this sequel trailer feels so effective is because it embraces contrast. New York and Montana are not just different locations, they represent two completely different identities. The trailer makes it clear that this family is out of place, and not in a charming or humorous way. They are uncomfortable, exposed, and stripped of everything that once defined them. There is a strong sense that Montana does not bend for anyone, and that reality becomes a test for each character. The sequel aspect comes into play here in a very smart way. Instead of continuing the Dutton legacy directly, the Madison continues the philosophy of Yellowstone by asking the same question from a different angle. What happens when people who are used to control are forced to let go? What happens when the land does not belong to you and never will? The trailer also hints that this story will unfold slowly, and that is actually one of its greatest strengths. It does not promise constant drama or shocking twists every 5 minutes. Instead, it promises emotional payoff. It suggests that relationships will change, bonds will be tested, and people will reveal who they really are once their comfort is gone. Characters like the daughters and their families are positioned as emotional mirrors, each reacting differently to the same loss and the same environment. One tries to rebuild, one resists change, one feels completely lost. That variety makes the story feel grounded and real. The sequel trailer is not selling chaos, it is selling consequence. Perhaps the most surprising thing about the trailer is how hopeful it feels despite all the grief. There is a quiet optimism buried under the sadness, a sense that healing is possible even if it takes time. That balance between pain and hope is what makes the trailer linger in your mind long after it ends. It does not scream for attention, it stays with you. And in a franchise built on power struggles and violence, the Madison choosing emotional honesty feels like a risk worth taking. This sequel trailer does not just change expectations for the show, it challenges what a Yellowstone story can be at its core. Another reason why Yellowstone, the Madison sequel trailer, feels so impactful is how carefully it builds mystery without giving too much away. It understands that suspense does not always come from danger but from uncertainty. Throughout the trailer, there is a constant feeling that something fragile is forming, and at the same time, something could easily break it. The family's move to Montana is not presented as a fresh start filled with excitement. Instead, it feels like a last option. There is an unspoken understanding that they are not running towards something better, but running away from a life that no longer exists. That emotional tension sits at the heart of the trailer and makes every moment feel uneasy. You can sense that each character is carrying their own version of grief, and none of them are processing it the same way. That difference alone creates quiet conflict, and the trailer hints that these emotional fractures will slowly widen as the story unfolds. What makes this sequel angle so compelling is how it treats the Yellowstone world as a living place rather than a legacy that needs to be copied. The trailer never tries to recreate the energy of the Duttons or mimic their power dynamics. Instead, it shows us what happens when ordinary people are dropped into an extraordinary environment that does not care about their past. Montana is not romanticized here. It is beautiful, yes, but it is also isolating, unforgiving, and honest to a fault. The trailer makes it clear that this land will not adapt to the family. The family must adapt to it or risk being broken by it. That idea alone adds a layer of suspense that feels more psychological than physical. You are left wondering who will survive emotionally, not who will win a fight. The sequel trailer also does something very smart with time and memory. Flashbacks are not treated as exposition, but as emotional reminders of what was lost. Kurt Russell's presence, even in absence, becomes a quiet force that influences everything. His character feels like a ghost that lingers in the background, shaping decisions without ever needing to speak. That creates an emotional push and pull, especially for Michelle Pfeiffer's character, who seems torn between honoring the past and allowing herself to move forward. The trailer hints that this internal struggle will be one of the show's most powerful elements. There is a real sense that moving on might feel like betrayal, and staying stuck might feel like survival. That emotional dilemma is far more gripping than any external threat, and the trailer leans into it beautifully. What also stands out is how the trailer positions secondary characters as catalysts rather than distractions. People outside the family are not shown as villains or saviors, but as forces of influence. They represent the reality of Montana, a world that operates on different values and expectations. The trailer subtly suggests that relationships will form not out of convenience, but necessity. Trust will not come easily, respect will have to be earned, and those dynamics create a slow burning tension that feels very deliberate. This is not a story about instant belonging. It is about learning where you stand when everything familiar is gone. That uncertainty keeps the audience engaged because it feels unpredictable in a grounded way. The sequel trailer also benefits from its restraint. It does not try to answer every question it raises. In fact, it seems more interested in asking the right ones. Will this family truly heal, or are they just delaying the inevitable collapse? Will Montana become a home, or just another reminder of what they lost? And perhaps most importantly, can a story born out of grief ever fully escape it? These questions linger because the trailer refuses to simplify them. There is no clear emotional resolution promised. Instead, there is an understanding that healing is messy, uneven, and often uncomfortable. That honesty is what gives the trailer its weight. By the end of the sequel trailer, it becomes clear that the Madison is not trying to shock the audience into caring. It is inviting them to sit with discomfort, to feel the silence between words, and to recognize the kind of pain that does not disappear overnight. This approach might not appeal to everyone, but for those who connect with it, it hits deeply. The suspense here is not about what happens next, but about how the characters will change because of it. And that kind of suspense is far more lasting. One of the most interesting things the sequel trailer does is redefine what conflict looks like in this story. Instead of setting up a clear enemy, it presents life itself as the challenge. Grief, isolation, identity, and change all become obstacles the characters must face every single day. That makes the tension feel constant, even in moments where nothing dramatic is happening. The trailer suggests that the hardest battles in the Madison will be fought internally, in quiet moments when characters are alone with their thoughts. This is a major shift from what Yellowstone fans are used to, but it feels intentional and surprisingly refreshing. The danger is not someone trying to take land or power. The danger is losing yourself when everything you once relied on is gone. The sequel trailer also spends time establishing how differently each character reacts to this new reality, and that difference is where a lot of the drama will come from. Some characters seem to want to adapt, even if it hurts. Others resist change, clinging to the version of life they lost. The trailer makes it clear that grief is not shared equally, even within the same family. Everyone is mourning the same loss, but they are doing it in completely different ways. That emotional imbalance creates tension that feels real and unavoidable. You can sense that misunderstandings will grow, resentment will quietly build, and love will be tested in ways that are far more painful than any external conflict. Michelle Pfeiffer's character continues to feel like the emotional backbone of the entire sequel, and the trailer leans heavily into her quiet strength. She is not portrayed as someone who has all the answers. In fact, the opposite seems true. She looks uncertain, exhausted, and overwhelmed, yet she keeps moving forward because she has no other choice. That kind of strength feels earned rather than forced. The trailer suggests that her journey will not be about reclaiming control, but about learning how to live without it. That is a powerful theme, especially in a universe where control has always been everything. Watching a character navigate vulnerability instead of dominance adds a new emotional layer to the Yellowstone world. The sequel trailer also hints at new relationships forming, and it does so with subtlety. Nothing feels rushed or overly romanticized. Instead, connections seem to develop out of shared understanding and mutual respect. There is a sense that trust will take time, and that makes these potential relationships feel more meaningful. The trailer leaves just enough ambiguity to keep viewers guessing about where these connections might lead. Will they bring healing, or will they complicate an already fragile emotional state? That uncertainty adds another layer of suspense because emotional closeness can be just as risky as emotional distance. Another important aspect of the trailer is how it treats Montana itself as more than just a setting. It feels like a silent presence that constantly challenges the characters. The land does not welcome them, but it does not reject them either. It simply exists, indifferent to their struggles. That indifference forces honesty. There is no hiding behind wealth or reputation here. The trailer makes it clear that survival in this environment is not about proving dominance, but about humility and patience. That idea ties directly into the sequel's deeper themes and reinforces why this story belongs in the Yellowstone universe, even if it looks different on the surface. What really stands out by this point in the trailer is how confident the show feels in its own identity. It is not trying to be louder or more intense than Yellowstone, it is trying to be more honest. The sequel trailer trusts the audience to appreciate a slower pace and deeper emotional stakes. It understands that not every powerful moment needs to be explosive. Sometimes the most devastating moments are the quiet ones, the ones where characters realize that there is no going back to who they used to be. That realization alone carries enormous weight. By the end of this section of the trailer, it becomes clear that the Madison is setting itself up as a story about transformation rather than conquest. Every character is being pushed toward change, whether they want it or not. The suspense comes from not knowing who will embrace that change and who will break under its weight. And that question is what keeps the audience invested. This sequel is not about winning, it is about enduring, and that makes it far more emotionally gripping than anyone expected. What ultimately makes Yellowstone, the Madison sequel trailer, feel so powerful is the sense that this story knows exactly what it wants to be, and it is not afraid to slow down and let the emotions breathe. By this point, it becomes clear that this sequel is less about continuing a legacy and more about redefining it. The trailer feels like a quiet statement saying that the Yellowstone universe does not end with land wars or dynasties, but with people, their pain, and their ability to keep going when life no longer makes sense. That realization alone changes how you view everything that came before it. Instead of asking who will take control next, the sequel asks who will survive emotionally, and that shift feels both risky and necessary. The trailer leaves you with a strong sense that the characters are standing at a crossroads, even if they do not fully realize it yet. Every decision they make from this point forward feels like it will carry long-term consequences. Staying in Montana is not framed as a guaranteed path to healing. It is simply the path they have chosen, because turning back is no longer an option. That uncertainty is what creates lasting tension. The sequel trailer does not promise happiness or closure, it promises struggle, growth, and uncomfortable truths. And in doing so, it feels far more honest than many shows that rush toward resolution. The audience is invited to walk alongside these characters, not judge them, and that makes the experience feel personal. There is also a quiet maturity in how the trailer handles the idea of moving on. It does not suggest that grief disappears or that love replaces loss in a clean, simple way. Instead, it implies that people carry their losses with them, learning to live around the pain rather than erase it. That message is subtle, but it is powerful. The sequel does not treat emotional healing as a destination. It treats it as a process, one that is messy, uneven, and deeply human. That approach makes the story feel grounded, and it allows viewers to see pieces of themselves in these characters, even if their lives look completely different. Another reason the sequel trailer lingers in your mind is because it refuses to give easy answers. It leaves emotional threads intentionally unresolved, creating anticipation that feels earned rather than manufactured. You are not waiting to see a big reveal or a shocking twist. You are waiting to see how these people change, how they break, and how they rebuild. That kind of anticipation is rare, especially in a franchise known for high-stakes drama. The Madison chooses emotional investment over spectacle, and the trailer makes that choice feel deliberate and confident. By the final moments of the trailer, there is a quiet sense of inevitability. Change is coming, whether the characters are ready or not. The sequel does not frame this change as good or bad, it simply frames it as necessary. That neutrality adds depth to the story and allows the audience to interpret the journey in their own way. Some viewers may see hope, others may see heartbreak, and that range of emotion is exactly what gives the sequel its power. It does not tell you how to feel, it lets you feel.